This is Nick Nilsson, Mad Scientist of Muscle, and what I've got for you today here is a review of this, bands from Rubber Banditz. Now, band training, if you're not familiar with it, there's a couple of different kinds of bands that you can use. Some bands are very thin, almost like fabric-like, and are basically just like a big thick rubber band, thick as in width. These ones, however, particularly from Rubber Banditz, you can see they're not just like thin paper thin ones. These are actually probably about 1/4 of an inch thick here. Now, the reason you want these for actual like heavy training is durability. You want something that is built basically thick and is not going to rip and snap back in the face. So if you're doing anything that requires a lot of resistance or heavy resistance, or you're putting your body weight into it or putting yourself in a position where these bands could rip and snap back on you, you want something solid. And these bands, I've been testing them for Rubber Banditz. Great piece of equipment. It's, there's not a lot you can say about bands other than do they stretch and are they durable. And the Rubber Banditz bands do fit that bill. Now, you can hitch them just like you could with anything on here. I like to hitch them onto racks and do stuff not only with just the band itself, but also attaching the band to free weights. For example, like I would hitch this band down low, another one on the other side, and do something like deadlifts where you're starting low and you're coming up and back and you're getting resistance not only from the free weight but also from the stretch of the bands. So the way these bands are put together, and this is one of the smaller bands, you can kind of see, I'll move right up closer, you can kind of see where this seam is right here. Now obviously you don't want a seam that goes all the way through, you want a multi-layer kind of positioning, so this goes around and then one of the seams internally also happens in a different position, so you're not having all the seams lined up in one spot. And when you go in close, it is hard to see. This is not the case with these bands, so you're not getting one seam spot that could potentially snap. It's multi-layered and it's in different spots all the way around, so that you're not getting any particularly weak spots or any weak link in the chain. Now this is just basically a small sized band, and this is going to stretch no problem all the way down to the floor. For me personally, I would have no problem doing body weight exercises with this, using bands to support my weight or incorporating them into free weight stuff. Now, one of the things I do like about these Rubber Banditz bands in general too is the surface of them. Now, I know it sounds kind of weird, but you don't want these band surfaces to be too grippy. For example, when you're hitching these bands around here, if they're going to grip on here too much, it's not the end of the world, but it can be a pain in the butt to set these up. So you're basically hitching and then you're maneuvering and hitching, but if they slide relatively easily, then they latch on very easily. You can unhitch them pretty much just as easily, which is a good feature to me. So in general, if you're looking for a good set of bands, Rubber Banditz is definitely a brand that I would recommend. I've been testing their bands out for a little while here using various exercises, and really high quality stuff, and definitely, like I said, something I would recommend.